We're so pleasant in the morning.
Look at you come in
Good
nice
morning,
and soft
everybody.
today. It's
Good
a
morning,
Friday.
everybody.
This is a holiday weekend.
Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody.
It's Independence
If you
Day
could have
Sunday.
heard the conversation we were having right before we went live, we were all like, "Rah!" And then we're like, good morning, LOCPOD.
You came in nice and soft for a Friday.
That's right. This is LOCPOD, your relief from crappy radio. We are free of charge, and you get what you pay for. Also, happen to be huge in Belgium. I know a lot of people listen to us while they're working out, walking, running. I was recently informed people like to listen to us while they drive, and you may nod off, so I would recommend to get
I would
set.
hope they listen to us while they're driving. And
They nod off,
passes the time.
We're very boring, so I
don't know, boring, but at least
you'll
we're
like
here.
crash your car. So Joey, drink some caffeine if you're going to be listening to this.
Season
on the
3,
road.
episode 27, also known as episode 88.
We've done 88 of these.
87. We're not there yet.
I mean, think about it. Like a lot of people are looking for political dirt on me. We got 88 hours of material.
87.
All you have to do is log in and subscribe, and you'll find all kinds of dirt on
Don't
me.
have to pay $6.
No, it's free. You save $72 a year by listening to
The
us.
amount of money the Oppo research would, don't pay Oppo research. Just
don't
listen
need
to the
Oppo
Left of Center podcast.
88 plus hours. Probably closer to 90 hours of dirt on me right there. I just put it free of charge out there.
We have some good mailbag today.
The Todd Young interns are going to have a field day
Oh,
with
yeah,
that
Todd
first
Young.
commercial.
Yeah,
Like,
Todd Young
what do
intern.
this is what Oppo research is about. You just listen to the opponent's podcast.
Yeah, you just listen to it. We put it out there for free.
Get ready.
You don't need to pay big money for this.
If that
It's
happens,
there.
they're going to have it easy.
I was looking at a video of Todd Young on the board the other day.
Oh,
I could take that guy.
really?
Yeah,
Wait, you're talking about a boxing match or
A boxing
an
match.
election?
I'm talking boxing match.
All right.
I got
Boxing
him.
match.
I got him. He's dodging me too, man.
He's not commenting.
Todd Young, you're dodging me. Celebrity boxing match. Come on, you're dodging me. You're a Marine. You're embarrassing your whole brotherhood here.
Maybe Adam Wren will do another scoop.
I'm a squid. You can't turn down a squid's
Squid
offer.
versus a jarhead?
Yeah. I mean, this is
Jarhead,
a disgrace.
Marines
this is a
all over
disgrace.
are-
Semper Fi. This is a disgrace to the Marine Corps. Todd, accept my challenge.
All right.
There you go.
You're going to push this guy right to the edge, and he's going to do it.
And then he's going to kick the crap out of me.
In the Civic Center with Jill,
I'll
on the
be
fire,
like,
with Jill on the fire alarm.
I'll be like, I still can't believe you accepted.
We got a big show today. We've got some things to talk about, some government pressure on the people, which I'm sure we're going to get into with John. I want to talk about this, though. This was something funny that came up yesterday when we were pre-showing. Mayor Tom says to me, well, I finally got Apple Music.
I did.
I just chuckled because I thought you might be
I didn't do it after that show.
the last human
Possibly. Jill, do you have
that
Apple
still
Music?
pays.
I do not.
Well,
Thank
you
you,
have, but
Jill.
you have Spotify.
She's got an Android.
Thank
Okay,
you,
thank
Jill.
you.
She doesn't
No,
have
she has
Apple
she has a pay for.
I know, Androids.
Pay
It's like a
for- she has
different language.
Spotify.
It's like if you're you don't speak English.
The point
If you're
is,
on an Android, you're like, yeah, I don't understand
We
English
can't even
at all.
communicate with her.
I know.
With
It's
the
like-
episodes.
You're like, hey, Jill, and she's just looking at you like, I just don't
What?
get it.
Here's
I don't
this shared
understand.
note.
Yeah.
What is this?
she said,
Shared
email
note.
it to me.
Please
She's-
copy and paste this.
Not good. The point is you were paying 99 cents a song,
Yeah.
and now what do you think?
That's pretty cool. I like it. I'm not going to give you that much credit.
Oh,
It is
come on.
easy to download new music onto playlists. I like that.
So
and then
wait.
you informed me last night I had to download them. I'm
Well,
like,
I was
what
just
the
saying
hell?
that it's in the cloud for a little bit until you really put it on your.
So
on your
what
phone.
was the first song you downloaded?
Oh, good
Ooh.
question.
It was Sammy Hagar in a Circle.
Whoa! And did you see all
Yeah,
the live stuff
yeah,
they have? It's cool, right?
I downloaded the New Jersey concert. It was, and that's pretty solid, by the way, because I know Sammy's listening.
And you can just download the whole.
no, but
thing.
that's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So I downloaded Sammy in the Circle,
And it was
then,
all. It wasn't
And then I
99
put it
cents a
on
song.
I put it on a rap it's like a compilation of great rap and I downloaded a bunch of songs that I'd never even heard
Look at
before.
this.
Like
Yeah.
Nelly and
He's
Busta
all
No,
over.
I'm talking.
He's
like
all over it, John.
Newer stuff.
He would have had to pay 99 cents. For
I know
each of
you'd
those
have paid. You'd have spent like $30.
Yeah.
And you didn't. You just boom.
You know,
Welcome to Apple
What is this,
Music.
Apple
Welcome to the
freaking Apple
21st.
commercial?
Welcome to the 21st century.
You know, I only know one other person now who does not have Apple Music or
Besides
is subscription based.
You got to be real cheap.
Phil.
Oh,
Phil
well.
Talon is
Really?
still buying his songs. Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Phil. I knew we had something in common there.
This
No,
is the
you
only
don't. You
thing
don't
you
have anything in common anymore
Not
with them.
anymore.
Phil and I have a lot in common. That happened to be one of them. We both enjoy not getting milked by Apple Corporation, and you guys enjoy it.
We did. Well,
Getting
welcome
squeezed.
to the Apple Music family.
I got 4 months free, buddy.
Oh, look at you.
I'm bailing after
Just
4
go.
months.
You're going
I'm
to download
downloading
20,000 songs like every day, every moment.
And then
album
I'm out.
after album.
I'm out. Right?
And then he turns the Wi-Fi off on that device, so he'll never lose
get
the
him again.
songs. He just has tens of thousands of songs.
I have to like buy a new phone.
Yes, exactly.
This Apple Music
got
takes
them.
up a lot of space on my phone.
So you avoided $30 in new song charges and you bought a new $500 iPhone. Yes, that's what
It's
I
all
did.
working out for you.
So you have an iPod then, basically.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hey,
yeah.
someone wants to know in chat if you washed your car yet. What's that about?
Oh, let's see this.
Dude,
Let's see. Do
I
you
got
have a video?
coordinated dive bomb attack. This was not at my house.
What
by
did
the
you
way.
do to these birds?
I come out of the. I was at a political meeting.
Mhm.
I come out of a political
Oh,
meeting.
it was
I swear,
Republicans.
it looked like
Republican birds.
it looked like I got paintballed.
Oh
my car.
Gosh. I do have a video here.
It
Watch
was
this.
yes.
This literally happened while you
So
were
there's
in
like
Obviously
okay.
pissed off the bird community yesterday.
What?
Don't understand it.
Look at this car.
What I did wrong. But
That's a
obviously-
big bird.
Is that paint?
Car wash.
Yeah, are you sure that's from birds?
It
That
looks
guy-
like a paintball hit my car. It was like honestly, and I know those who are listening right now can't appreciate this. It's like 40 birds coordinated their poop attack on my car at one time.
That's
And
a
I
big
just got-
bird there. Like that guy came back a couple
Dude,
times.
that's
I
like a
obviously
big human
pissed off
poop.
The bird
You're like,
community
F this
yesterday.
guy.
Right.
Don't understand it. But I did.
Don't understand it. It's like he's depressed. He's like, where are these birds? Can I
Where's
talk
the
to you?
logic?
Can I talk you through this?
Wow.
I don't understand it. Like,
You
what
still
did I
don't
do?
understand
I
it.
feed the birds all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I like
That's
put my
probably your
Oh,
problem.
we're gonna get into that
but
now.
like, I put my bird feeders out. I'm nice to birds all the time. If I'm gonna shoot anything in my front, it's not a bird. It's a squirrel. You know, I shoot squirrels, not
They should
birds.
be happy.
I know. I'm
Maybe
protecting
the
their
squirrels
food.
have a new ally. Maybe they like coordinated some alliance.
Do you think it had to do with the squirrels?
I don't know. That's a long way. I mean, you're not at your house,
Dude, I got torpedoed, man. They knew it.
Wow.
That was unbelievable.
Time
And
to
by the
watch
way,
the
this
car.
is the same car that got hit by that lady, right?
Yes.
So like,
Maybe
I
it's
got
the
a
car.
dent on my car from the lady. Kyra, thank you very much. And then coordinated dive bomb attack by birds.
Time to watch the car. Maybe it's time to turn it in.
I don't know. This car is cursed.
Speaking of birds,
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. By the way, DNRS Hoosiers, all Hoosiers, not to take down. Hold on, excuse me. Let me try it.
this is great.
The Department of Natural Resources asks all Hoosiers to take down bird feeders. St. Joseph County joins counties with dead birds.
I had a couple of dead birds in my yard, by the way, recently.
So
which
let
is
me-
not which
Whoa.
is not common.
So Cardinals, robins, blue jays, geckos, brown-headed cowbirds, and European starlings are getting sick and dying across, not just across Indiana. This is an Indiana article, but across the United States, actually. And the Indiana Department of Natural Resources isn't sure why. A bird feeder encourages different species to come together at the same place, and that's not natural. People feed birds for their own pleasure during the summer, but birds are more than capable of finding their own food at this time of year. So Miss Kirkwood, in this article, recommends all Hoosiers remove their bird feeders, like she did. She said, I removed my bird feeders and I sanitized them as instructed. People with bird baths are also being encouraged to clean them regularly with 10% bleach.
I read that somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, I was wondering whether or
bet
not
you
they're,
are.
I
You're
thought
a
they were going
freaking
to
conformist.
blame you for like this, like, oh, it's Wolf Lake. It's the
Dude.
it's-
Right off the bat, Kevin's like, okay,
Yep. Done.
thank you, DNR, right?
Got to believe the science.
Right?
Did these birds have masks?
By the
Dude.
way, John in chat says they may have been Todd Young carrier pigeons.
Oh.
There's the answer.
That's what happened.
But you know what pisses me off about this, John? You know, freaking big government
Yeah, man.
coming along. I mean, no, now we got to take down our bird feeders,
But
right?
John's not going to do that.
You know,
Unbelievable.
I mean, first is you got to wear a mask during a pandemic. You got freaking kidding me, right? And then you got to get a shot because there's a deadly disease out there, like big government, right? And then, you know, got to wear a seatbelt in my car. It's like, if I'm on my motorcycle, got to wear a helmet. Freaking big government. Now I can't put my goddamn bird feeder out.
and you have to bleach your bird bath.
Right, John? This is bullshit.
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, thanks, Biden.
John's
Yeah,
gonna be like,
now the
I'm
birds
add-
are dying. Ever
I'm
since
adding
Biden
bird-
takes
John's gonna have
office.
like, I'm adding bird feeders.
That's right. I am going to
You know
extra
what?
feed.
Wait till the next flag
Yeah.
comes up. You think the Biden flag was bad enough? Now it's going to be like, I'm adding another
Ever since
one.
Biden takes office, all these birds are dying. I got to do all this. I can't feed a damn bird in my own front yard. I have a constitutional right to feed birds in my front
Government.
yard.
And you know, the libertarians like Chuck Pullen,
Yeah.
they're going to have a field day on this.
I
I'm telling you.
have the perfect ad
Big
for
old
them.
Chuck Pullen.
Save the birds, vote Trump 2024. How
Maybe
hard
that'll
is
be
this?
a flag.
Yeah.
It'll be the
I'm telling
newest
you.
flag.
It's in the Constitution that you could feed birds. I guarantee you it's in the Constitution. And, you're
ask
violating my constitutional rights. I want to feed a bird my own goddamn property. I'm going to do it.
Maybe
Screw
the
you,
oath keep-
DNR.
Where are you, oath keepers, when we need you?
Yeah, right? See, John, you didn't think we had a lot in common. Now you know.
Thank you for once.
And if you
For
don't,
me.
and if you don't know, now you know.
Government overreach.
Did you download that song yesterday? Nice.
If you don't,
If you
I know
don't
that. I have that
know,
song
now
already.
You know.
I bought that song. Thank
oh,
you.
99 cents.
I
John.
bought it on
We got it for
Biggie,
free.
and I bought it on Hamilton. So.
Everyone should own that song. I agree.
Hey, before we forget and get
If
to
you don't know, now you know, Mr. President.
get to mailbag, there's a pretty big, we've talked about the festival in Northwest Indiana, Hammond, of course, Mayor Tom's Fest, which is called Festival of the Lakes. Every year, it's huge, and we've got a great lineup this year. But more importantly, to kick it off, there's a launch party coming up. Everybody's invited. It's at one of the best breweries around, 18th Street Brewery. We've had Drew
Besides
Fox on
Byway,
here.
who's one of our sponsors.
That's right. All both in Hammond. 18th Street Brewery, unbelievable place, unbelievable distillery. Drew Fox has been a guest, and that's where you are going to go to the launch party next week, next Friday. John, what else do we got on that? I thought Lisa sent something. I got to read this.
Yes, there's some special drinks.
Oh, the
at the
Red
launch
Rocker
party.
and the Snapback. How about that?
Sound tasty.
They
And
do.
then the
Summery.
next day is
Davey
the,
Knowles, by the way.
the 5K where all my employees are trying to beat me into the ground.
And?
I'm not fast. I
Yeah,
tried
but-
to run fast.
But the rules are they have to beat you by minutes, depending
Right.
on their age, right?
Right, and if they're older than me, they just have to beat me.
All right.
Which is not fair to the older people than me, by the way. We'll have
Some
to
of
work
them.
on that.
We'll see.
So all of a sudden, all of my employees are like jogging on my block too. They're like trying to get in my
They're
head.
throwing it at you.
I like look
Flipping
out.
you the bird too.
Yeah,
as I run
right.
past?
They're like running super fast, like right in front of my house. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like intimidation.
Throwing bird
I
stuff
will
on
not
your
be
car.
intimidated by my. So I took that employee. He thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I transferred him to another department. Just to show him what's up. I'm like, hey man, I'm not taking this shit. He's
not-
like,
he's
I was just
working-
out for a run.
He's working midnights.
Yeah, good job, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy that run, big guy. Oh, you're working during the 5K, man. That sucks, right?
I can't wait to hear the results of this.
Yeah,
It's going to be good.
I'm gonna get beat down.
Well, anyway, go to the launch party if you can make it. It's open. It's free. There's going to be food trucks, all kinds of good stuff. Davey Knowles, if you've never heard Davey Knowles, unbelievable guitarist from the Isle of Man.
Yeah, that's
the only
right.
guy I've ever met from the only man I've met from the Isle of Man.
So, by the way, we have a huge guest today. He's going to be Skyping in soon here. Matt Money Smith,
I've heard of him.
Kevin's cool brother, who's
Yeah.
famous on the West Coast, from
He's
Hammond.
Cool, all right.
He's very cool. He's 180,000 Twitter followers,
It's 180,000 more than me.
179,000 more than you. Ish.
I love what I'm hearing already from I'm going to psychoanalyze this interview the whole time.
What do you mean? Oh,
Like
no.
between his
How did this
between the
happen?
two brothers.
Why am I sitting here and he's
Kevin's
on the
already
beach?
making some self-deprecating, kind of
Dude.
passive-aggressive comments.
We all agree this is going to be a bad show for
it's
Kevin,
gonna
right?
be terrible.
Okay, good. As long as we all know that going in,
I'm
right?
already getting squirming around
Oh,
the
this
chair.
is not going to be pleasant for you.
All right, well let's get to Matt in a second. After we get
I
to
hope Matt's
mailbag.
got his best material
I'm
already.
sure he does. It's only like 5 o'clock there in L.A. So
All he's got to do is put the backdrop as the ocean, and he's already
Yeah, he's
kind
already-
of winning.
My backdrop is Calumet Avenue. All right, John, mailbag.
Mailbag.
These are all three, by the way, really.
I really got to record that so
Are
I
they?
can stop doing it.
No, they're not all three. Like one of them is semi-negative. It is.
I thought they were nice. These are
Two of them are nice. One of them is negative.
That's
Let's be
and
honest.
it's usually a flip of that. So
Right.
thank you,
Last show
thank
was-
you, folks, for the positive comments.
And the negative last show were very negative.
I know they must have been like,
biting.
you know what? I'm starting to feel sorry for Tom. Let's get
Maybe.
let's get some nice things out there.
Thank you for the pleasant mailbag for this show. We
Let's do
appreciate it. From Melanie R., who I know is watching right now. We saw her in chat.
Sorry in chat. So Melanie,
Hey.
thank you for
Melanie,
this.
hi Melanie. Yeah, Melanie is on mailbag today. Hi LOCPOD crew. I just wanted to say how much I've enjoyed watching the podcast this past year. I moved back to Hammond last year. I grew up in Hessville and remember when Tom Sr. was mayor. My mother would always talk about how handsome he was. I think this is one of the negative ones, right?
Here we go.
I remember as a kid being at Woodmar Mall getting ready for the new school year to start. We were at one of the shoe stores and Tom Sr. came by to buy shoelaces for one of his sons. It wasn't this one, by the way. It made my mom's day. Like, oh, wow, that's the mayor buying shoelaces. She fangirled over your dad.
Wow.
Laughing out loud. Ha ha ha. I wish she was still alive to watch your podcast, as I am sure she'd enjoy hearing our mayor talk about different things and being just a regular guy. It's great to see a mayor who is real and behaves the same way regardless of the media platform. Thanks for all you do. Melanie.
Oh, nice.
gosh.
Although I did notice,
Thank you.
why wasn't there any like fangirl talk about you?
Yeah. I mean,
It's
she
like
could
Tom Senior.
She could have easily thrown that
Tom
in.
Senior bought shoelaces. What have
Tom
you done?
Sen-
What have
I
you
don't
done
ever-
What have you done
What
lately?
do you do for your kids? They're like, I buy stuff. I do. Right? And
Just
then
not
like,
Apple Music.
And she's like, Tom Senior's so hot, and we
Yeah,
fangirled over
Tom's-
him.
yeah.
Anyway, Mayor, thanks for doing
Yeah.
what you do.
Right?
Thanks for being a regular
it would
guy.
have been like, oh, it's great to see you.
You're better looking than your dad.
Right? It's
That's
so
what we
easy.
need.
It's just one sentence.
I know. No, it's just like, thanks for being a good mayor.
Yeah,
Thanks for
your
being
dad
the
was
son
hot.
of your
He
dad.
was great. My mom loved him. Yeah.
Thanks
It's
for
good
being a
to see.
regular guy.
You're a regular guy. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, Melanie. I appreciate you.
We
No.
do appreciate her, though.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you, Melanie.
You're a sweetheart,
That was
Melanie.
great.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
Mary Smurga.
I love the fact that this was like, this is great.
This was on my Facebook page, which counts for mailbag.
I agree.
In our book.
Sure.
It's accompanied with pictures, by the way.
Which was very cool.
Hi, guys. Listening to your Left of Center podcast this morning on our road trip from Hammond to Yellowstone.
Now, just right there, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's a
That's
really
awesome.
good idea.
Hammond to Yellowstone, listening to the podcast.
Yeah. You got 80 hours worth. You could literally, 88 hours.
You could make it to Yellowstone without hearing all of the podcast.
You could listen to us from the region to Yellowstone.
Someone's screaming right now.
That might
with
make
that
you drive
comment.
into Yellowstone.
Yeah, right.
Into the sign.
Yeah. A car drove off of what's that big mountain there? The famous dome. Half
Oh,
dome?
that's
Half
in
dome.
Yosemite.
Oh, my bad.
All right.
Yeah, all the
Wrong
parks are
national
the
park.
same.
But still,
this
Teddy,
is Teddy Road. Is this the one in South Dakota?
this is actually in the corner of like Montana and Wyoming.
That's right by Bozeman, Montana. I got you.
We'll read the
anyway.
rest.
So she has plenty of LOCPOD material. She could drive there and back.
Yes.
Listening to LOCPOD continuously.
I thought this was great, though, because it says she
You're
ran
like,
across...
why don't you read it?
She ran across Theodore Roosevelt National Park about 30 minutes later, because we were talking about Teddy Roosevelt last episode, and that's when she wrote it. And, of course, we had to stop. Our 17-year-old did not want to take this pic. That looks like a 17-year-old that did not want to
He
take
did
the
not,
pic.
you could tell.
But it's cute, right? Just because he's in front of
He's
the...
like, 17-year-old, get out. I'm taking a pic. And he's like, oh, my God.
I'm tired,
right?
Mom.
Like,
That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that'll be a good one. It's a cute picture. And thank
It
you,
is
Mary,
cute.
for listening.
Thank you,
And
Mary.
I've been to that. I've actually been to that very spot. And
Really?
Yellowstone's a great family trip if anyone's looking
I
for
got to
something to do
obviously
this
go
summer.
there. I thought that was the one in California.
Also an awesome place, Yosemite, both places.
But the cool thing
Wonderful.
is, so if you're going to Yellowstone, you could take LOCPOD and listen to it there and
You can
back.
drive around the park, which is huge, and listen to it.
But you have continuous LOCPOD.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to California, it's a one-way trip for LOCPOD. You can listen to other stuff on the way home.
Let's get to some more depressing and more normal mailbag, which is negative.
This is more of the regular type of mail. This is letter number 3, I called it. This is my least favorite of the 3. Democratic Party's love fest at Wicker Park recently simply displayed their duplicity in trying to curry favor with the voters. Their braggadocio was eclipsed only by the half-truth they spout to a naive audience. Man, this is a tongue
Look at him.
twister. A lot of words. Like,
Well,
very wordy.
I think he
Someone
wants to
used
come
a
off very.
thesaurus.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like,
this guy busted
I'm coming
out-
off smart.
He did.
If
He
I'm
came up-
gonna rip the Democrats, and I'm gonna come off smart.
The main talking point was that, quote, we delivered, unquote, financial aid to the people. It takes very little effort to dole out trillions of dollars of taxpayer money with no regard as to how to repay this debt. The Democrats believe that the government can spend unlimited sums of money with no consequences whatsoever. Can you say, quote, irresponsible? Question mark.
Wow.
Mayor Tom McDermott crowed, I'm proud to be crowed.
Braggadocio.
I'm proud to be a Democrat. I'm proud to be in a party that believes in facts.
Hey, that's a good crowing.
I'm proud to be in a party that supports union workers and puts people to work. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tom, here are the facts.
Look, he's like taking it to you.
Yeah, he's taking it to me. Well, Tom, here are the facts.
Mm-hmm.
One of President Biden's first official actions was promulgating. Here we go with the words again.
Promulgating, wow.
Promulgating
That's a good
an
word.
executive order that canceled construction of the Keystone XL oil pipeline. It halted a project that would have benefited our steel mills and the Whiting BP refinery.
I'm not
As
sure
for
about that.
Congressman Frank Mervan, a member of the Steel Caucus, what did we hear from him about this? Question mark. The radical leftists in the Democratic Party are pushing this country closer and closer to catastrophe. And they wonder
throwing
why
anything.
75 million people, including a majority of Hoosiers, voted for Donald J. Trump.
Threw in the middle initial.
That's
just to
from
really
George
stick it to
M.
us.
Thank you, George M.
Very smart. Very.
What do you guys think
smart.
of my alias name? Piss off! George M.
Yeah, right? It was good.
John George M. Vesmar?
Yeah, right.
He makes a couple good points, but
You know what I
This
don't
is
like
left of
about
center.
George M. besides the crowing.
The crowing?
He attacks me. I'm a freaking pissant mayor.
Mm.
And we have the congressman up there who spoke first,
Gave him one sentence.
spoke longer, right? He's the congressman. He's a big shot, big shot.
Of course.
Right? And I'm just a little pissant mayor. Little pissant,
Right
represent
after
pissant little city, right?
He's like,
and he slams me for like few paragraphs, and he's like, "Yeah, Frank was there too." That's a congressman.
Did he slam you though? I
He
don't know.
slammed me.
I think he
Tom
used your
McDermott
quote to make
crowed.
a point.
I'm proud to be a Democrat.
John, do you think the word crowed is a compliment?
That is not a compliment.
I
If
think
you
it's
describe somebody as
probably
crowing-
more neutral than offensive. No?
I've never heard of like a
John
compliment.
Vesmar crowed.
Thank you.
Fine. I'll look for a different adjective next time or whatever.
Yeah.
What is that, a verb?
Sure, it's a verb. I think it's a verb.
In that
John
sense,
Vesmar. Yeah, okay. All right.
I don't like.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
how dare
Thanks,
you?
George. Thanks for your
How
letter,
dare
George.
you? Be happy about money coming to your city that was well needed and.
I just don't. I don't understand like why I get attacked. Attack the congressman. He voted for it. You're attacking me. I'm just up there talking about
Because you were the
Thanks.
rabble rouser, man. You were up there getting the crowd
But
riled
like they're
up.
attacking me. I'm
We're
a
gonna go
pissant
after
little mayor.
We're gonna go after the guy that riled up the crowd.
He's gonna be. Let's see. We had the guy that voted for it, or the guy that's a pissant mayor of a little city. I'm gonna focus my anger on the pissant mayor, and then the guy that voted
why
for
do
it.
you do
Yeah,
that?
he was
How
there.
does that
also.
happen to you?
It's bullcrap. Stop attacking me. We elected Frank to be the congressman. Attack the congressman. Don't attack the
Or
mayor.
attack everybody. Attack them
No,
all.
don't attack me.
I think-
all the speakers.
I think George is a fan of the podcast because he's using a quote that we played on the podcast.
You're right.
That's probably how
You're
he heard
right.
it.
What show was that?
Thank you, George, for listening.
We
What's
played that clip of you.
Yeah,
on the
but
pod.
he might have been at the thing. I was quoted
Why would
in the
he have
newspaper. I was
been
quoted
at
in the media too, bud.
He might have been trolling John.
LOCPOD isn't the only media source out there, buddy. All right.
I like it how he calls everybody a radical leftists. You and
I'm
all
a
the people
radical
up there.
leftist. I was attacked during a campaign, like saying I love Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That was what the main attack was.
And now you're a
And I'm a
radical
radical
leftist.
leftist.
true.
now.
You're a Republican in
That's
sheep's
true.
clothing.
Like seriously, for those of you who weren't paying attention, then there was like multiple mailers that went out to all Democrats that said Tom McDermott loves Donald Trump, basically. And
Yeah.
I was sitting there on TV, like watching Donald Trump and stuff like that. And I
Now
can't,
you're
I can't stand that guy.
6 months later, you're a radical.
I'm
leftist.
a radical leftist now.
You're part of the squad.
I just like focus your anger on George. I know you're listening, George M. from Highland.
because you can't help it.
When you see a pissant mayor next to a big time, super important congressman, don't focus your anger on the pissant mayor.
Take your braggadocio and take it elsewhere.
Focus it
George
on the
M.
guy that voted for the pork. I'll spend the
He's
pork.
going to say you're crowing
right?
again.
But I'm not in charge. He's the congressman. Why do I get attacked? I don't get this.
That's what you get for being, the cleanup guy at the speech, and
I gotta be more boring.
riling up the crowd.
I'm going to be more boring. From
You're
now
riling
on.
everybody up.
From now on,
Okay.
I'm going to be more boring.
You're not going to be a radical leftist.
No, I'm going to start playing the center again.
That's why we're in left to center. And just with that note, we're going to go to ads and come back with Matt Money Smith.
Oh, can't wait. Matt Money. I hope he's got his material ready for his little brother, or his big brother, excuse
Thank you.
me. Yeah.
Watch that.
All right. Jill.
Hey, you're listening to Left of Center, where we cover everything from politics to important events of the day in the Midwest and the nation, all while having way too much fun while doing it. If you can't get enough of us, follow us on Facebook at Left of Center Podcast or on Twitter at LOCPOD. If you can't listen live and maybe you're driving across the country on vacation, you can download our episodes on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio apps. Just search Left of Center and look for the red and blue logo. Don't forget to subscribe and rate on every one of those applications. If you'd like to advertise with us, send an email to steve@lockpod.com.
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Here's our sponsors. Power in America is Northwest Indiana's source for a trusted electrical professional. If you're a developer looking for a large-scale electrical contractor, Power in America can help take the guesswork out of finding a professional you can trust. Their select network of electrical contractors are committed to employing local electricians that have successfully completed a certified apprenticeship training program registered with the Indiana Department of Labor. All employees are held to a high standard of professionalism, expertise, and knowledge, and all of their contractors are licensed, bonded, and insured. If you'd like more information about your electrical needs, visit Powering America today at certifiedelectrician.com. Thank you, Dodie Russell and Powering America.
Grisolia's Concrete was voted number 1 in the Times Best of the Region 2020 and 2021. That's right. Bernie did it again.
Good work, Bernie.
And he specializes in all of your concrete projects. Grisolia's has been using the original cement finish in the California style since 1972 and has also offers stamped and colored concrete. For more information or a project quote, call Grisolia's at 219-659-4127. That's Grisolia, Bernie Grisolia, 219-659-4127.
Look at you on that, like the trailer right at the end.
You know.
Just like sped it up.
That's right. And by the way,
Braggadocio.
extra 10% for shirtless patio work.
You know what
If you
I've
like that
noticed,
kind of thing.
Jill? They seem to be reading these a lot better now that they've got a pro listening to them, waiting on
It's,
Skype.
yeah.
the pressure's on
pressure.
him.
I mean,
He'll
pressure.
criticize it.
I figure if I'm ever going to be discovered, it's today. So
It's today.
I'm throwing you guys
I
under the
can't
bus.
screw these up.
No, I'm going professional all day. So
Try Electronics wants to be your complete
Wow.
communications provider.
I'm gonna. Once I'm out of here, I'm never talking to you guys again. I
Try
promise.
Electronics. Next thing you know,
Kevin
you'll
who?
be surfing.
Kevin who? Yeah.
Next video of you
I'll be
will
hanging
be-
with money in the surf.
Try
So,
Electronics has been a
Matt Money.
leader in this industry for more than 55 years and can provide your business, John.
With end-to-end.
Thank you.
Dude,
Communication
They're gonna
Solutions.
stop paying us
For more
this ad.
information, call Try Electronics today at 800-722-6793 and tell them LOCPOD sent you.
When you say it, say LOCPOD sent me.
No, that's John's line.
And then they'll call
I don't
the
have
Hammond
I don't
police.
have a good whisper voice.
Yeah. Tortillas Nuevo Leon
Oh, this is our favorite.
is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. The Martinez model for success. Success. I did it
Here he
again.
goes again.
The Martinez model for success has always been responsive customer service, great tasting products with an authentic Mexican taste and high quality standards. Look for tortilla. The good God.
What?
Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white
Tortillas.
label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
Eli's singing to a largely West Coast audience now.
They're going to be like, wow, I got to try. Tortillas Nuevo Leon just went up big in L.A.
I agree.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio, perfect for enjoying its finely crafted ales, lagers, and chef-driven food. Brewing equipment on their production side offers a unique backdrop for your private event like bridal and baby showers, birthdays, reunions, and corporate events, conveniently located just off 8094 in the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu on this beautiful holiday weekend. I'm sure it's going to be packed out there. Go enjoy Byway Brewery.
Yeah, man.
I was there last night.
There you go. Jill was there.
On the patio.
And how was the
Delicious.
patio? California style on the patio.
Oh, the concrete? I don't know. I don't remember.
Look who's here.
He's here,
All
ladies
right.
and gentlemen.
Everybody, this is famous younger brother Kevin Smith. He's a play-by-play announcer for the Los Angeles Chargers. He has his own podcast. He has his own TV show, Petros and Money. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Radio show. Kevin, finish the introduction. I'm sure I missed a couple things.
Yeah, he's my little brother. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, couple things,
Yeah,
if I may.
All right.
So intrigued by the
Here we
ads. One, I'd like to say, Bernie, who runs the concrete. So, as someone who had stamped concrete, texture concrete in his backyard, cannot recommend that enough. I don't think a lot of people know what stamped concrete is.
That's right.
And instead of just kind of having like a nice little smooth, you think about concrete, how it cracks and it's a pain in the butt. No. The stamped concrete throws a nice pattern in there, so you can have a textured, you can have a design. For me, I had a nice texture, a little bit of sand in there, so the kids running around by the pool, they wouldn't slip when they're running around.
Look at this.
So call Bernie for that, number one. Number two, tortillas, or as we
Nuevo
pronounce them here in
Leon.
California, tortillas.
Yeah.
The region way to say it.
In California, there is no greater debate about food than your favorite breakfast burrito place.
Wow.
It truly is. Like of all, I don't know what it would be in the region. Like what is it, hamburgers or whatever it may be, right?
Mexican
This
food.
is my spot.
Donuts.
So out here it's breakfast burritos. So I will share with you and all of your listeners / viewers a recipe that was shared with me by what is considered the greatest breakfast burrito place
All right.
around. And it's very easy. You ready? You throw your meat in the frying pan, particularly just a nice sausage, right? A nice sausage roll, maybe a Jimmy Dean or something. You fry that up real good. Keep the grease in there. Meanwhile,
Keep the grease.
if you got an air fryer, which is what I like to use, you run those tater tots in the air fryer, okay? Then you take the tater tots, you throw them in that pan with all the grease and the sausage as it soaks it all up, okay? And then you come on top of that with the eggs, and you mix all that
Sounds like a
together in the
region
same
meal.
pan, right?
That's
and
great.
then on top of that, after it's all cooked, you throw the cheese in there in the frying pan, mix all that up, and then you throw it in the tortilla.
Nuevo
Nuevo
Leon.
Leon.
Right.
Nuevo de Leon.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you roll it up and
That's
and
awesome.
You got your, and make sure you warm that tortilla.
Matt, that's the first
And then-
recipe we've ever given out on LOCPOD, and I appreciate that.
And it doesn't sound like a
that's what
California healthy recipe. It sounds more like a.
No,
that sounds
no,
like
it's
something you
not.
come out of the
Breakfast
region.
burrito.
It feels like we need to add a
That's,
cooking segment to this podcast.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Should have Matt in the
That's
kitchen.
you know what? You got your Chicago Try and Training shirt on. That's a great post. Look, I just burned 1,200 calories surfing or training. I'm gonna refuel. I'm gonna get myself
love
a
it.
delicious burrito with a tortillas de huevo de león.
Nuevo
Style,
Leon. By the
right?
way, that if it wasn't for LOCPOD, that song would not exist. So we're pretty proud of that song. It's going to be a national.
fantastic.
Thank you. And then California Style. I bet you. Did you know that California Style, like with Bernie and that's the.
Hey,
we learned a lot about this
listen,
stuff.
I can attest to that for Bernie.
That's right.
It is the California style. I walk the dog every morning. There's
See?
a driveway.
Bernie's got
an
a
$8
Bernie's
million
got a thing.
house on the ocean that I walk by that's got stamped concrete.
Look
Hey,
at
you
you.
want to have a driveway that looks like an $8 million home that's sitting on the sand looking at the Pacific Ocean? Call Bernie.
That's my guy.
Damn it.
That's right.
That's your goal. You
Thanks,
get
Matt.
Bernie. Next thing you know, you're living on the beach.
Guys,
So-
he's so much
That's right.
better at this than we are.
I know, right?
His
By the way-
voice. Oh,
By the way, Matt, thanks for giving up your surfing this morning. We appreciate that. I'm sure you can catch it.
I'm
after.
not giving it up. I'm looking at it. If you see me looking to my right, that's the camera that's at the
Really?
wave. So I'm just making sure that wave's still breaking.
You have a
And
camera
I'm
that
actually-
faces the waves.
The whole beach does, right,
Well, I
Matt?
don't. If you go onto surfline.com, you can look at every wave in the world. So yeah, the one I ride is either the Seal Beach Jetty or the Seal Beach Pier or the Bolsa Chica waves in Huntington Beach, which Kevin's wearing right now, where the Vans U.S. Open of Surf is. That's actually the pier, the north of the south side of the pier wave. But yeah, you can do it there from Hammond. You can just log on to surfline.com and check out all the cameras. It's pretty cool.
Pressing.
Are you good? I mean, you probably didn't start
yeah.
until older, until you were older, right?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good. Yeah, I think I was not good, but with COVID, I basically started surfing every day.
That's
so
awesome.
instead of just surfing on the weekends or something, I truly go out every day.
So how old were you when
think
you
if-
started, Matt?
Do every day. Let's see, I'll be 48 this year. I was 47.
That's awesome, man.
1 year in. Yeah, but see, he's like, this is you want to talk about something that's very like talk about like brother stuff. So like
here we go.
I generally try to be pretty straight laced, right? Like I
No,
was
really,
like,
I never got that.
Oh, you're such a Boy Scout.
I can't.
And-
I don't believe
so
this.
like I ski.
He's not a Boy Scout. He's an Eagle Scout.
Thank you,
you're
thank you,
right.
Matt.
You're
Thank you,
right.
thank you.
Kevin's
Respect.
like, goddamn right, I was an
So
Eagle
like
Scout.
like I was probably like trying to learn, like trying to do something like work at the library or something like that. Matt was skateboarding.
He did work at the library.
I did work at the library. Matt was
Now, wait a
skateboarding.
minute. No, hold on a second. Wait, this is bull crap. Hold on. Let's just.
I like this already.
This is amazing.
Let's not forget the family in which we were raised. Right, our father, when we were young, had his own janitorial service.
Wow.
Right.
And then had his own home building company. When I don't think Kevin ever had to grab the mop. When my dad started having because Kevin was the smart one. So basically, he got to work at the library.
But did he do the
got
books?
To go to the Ivy League school. You know what I got?
I did do the
got, hey,
invoicing for my dad.
I think this kid. What did he? I found cigarettes in his drawer when he's 14.
Wow.
Grab the mop.
remember
You're
that.
smoke. You're gonna clean it. Oh, there's the dog.
Hey.
It's 6 a.m. You're gonna clean Calumet Construction. I'm gonna drop you off at Area
169th
Wells. I was
Street.
14 years old, and my dad would drop me off with a bucket, a mop, a vacuum, and a freaking squeegee.
Good
and I'm
for
a
you.
janitor. That's
Good for
what
you.
my life.
Look at you now, man.
So yes, exactly. I was skateboarding. Yeah, I was acting a fool and getting in some trouble, but I was also busting my tail as a janitor and a freaking laborer.
We all did
Think
that.
about
We
who
all
gets
did
hired as
that.
Laborers.
Look, we could go toe to toe on that. I vacuumed Calumet Construction on 169th many times, and area welding on Michigan Avenue many times.
How about this? I come back. I spend every summer in the region.
Yeah,
my whole childhood.
that's right.
And my dad's like, "Son, I got you a job this summer." I'm like, "Really?" At Comiskey Park. I'm a Cub fan, so I'm like, "That's amazing." Like, I picture myself like serving beer or like doing some glamorous stuff. I get there the first day. They put me on the roof, and I tore off tar the whole summer on the heat
for a team you didn't like.
for a team I didn't like.
Like, maybe you just screwed the roof up.
It was like
you know
a-
what? I don't really care much about
Dude,
this
it
roof.
was old
If
Comiskey.
it leaks, which I loved.
It
by
was
the
like
way.
120 degrees up there, dude. It sucked.
So, I guess
tar is the
the good
worst.
thing is, I think, right, work ethic's a good thing. And one thing about Matt was smart. Like, I was sitting in West Philly during college while Matt was like, I'm either going to go to Boulder. I mean, his two colleges were University of Colorado or Pepperdine. So he chose right. He went to Pepperdine. He's sitting in Malibu for 4 years. I walk out there. I'm like, this is smart. He decided this was a smart thing.
That's where you met your wife, right, Matt?
I did, yeah. Actually, remember, part of the reason I ended up at Pepperdine, Kevin, was because of you, because Scott King went there, right?
Yep.
And you had told me about Scott.
Scott
You're
King,
like, hey, check
attorney
out
Scott?
No,
actually,
okay. Morgan Park. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Scott King. I thought you meant the lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Kevin was like, hey, there's a college that's actually on the beach.
But I mean, the
Yeah,
upside.
like,
Tell
all
me
right,
about
that'll-
this
that'll
college,
do.
the
like, that'll
beach
do.
college.
Yeah, so the upside for Matt though is like he went out to LA and he's never come back. And I guess the number one, he met Carrie and he's made a life out there. But like Matt, I think one of the cool things was as an intern at K-Rock, which was a huge, I mean, probably still is a huge terrestrial radio, right? It was probably one of the top radio stations in the country at the time. Matt was interning. That's where he got his name Money. It was Jimmy Kimmel was the sports guy, and Matt was his intern for Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, so that was my junior year. I started, so I had to get up at about 3:30. Get to the station at about 5.
Jimmy Kimmel
and
seems like a great guy, by the way.
He's the best. Yeah, he's the best. He's a great guy, and still, actually, we were just kind of having a little correspondence. His cousin Sal's turning 50. We were talking about his birthday party, so he's still got that same group of friends. Never outgrew him. Just awesome guy, and was just brilliant back then. It was interesting, because Jimmy was there, and then Adam Carolla was there shortly thereafter. After I started, maybe like 3-4 months after I started, he showed up. And it is funny, no matter what business you're in, you can always see talent and spot outliers. Mm-hmm. And man, was that easy. Just as great as Kevin and Bean are, and they're in the Radio Hall of Fame, and they did an LA radio show for 30 years. So a testament to how talented they were. And actually, you got to meet them. Mayor Tom giving them the key to the city of Hammond.
Yeah, man.
When we were in Vegas, and but you could just see the difference between those two and Kevin and Bean even. I mean, like, just ridiculous how talented Jimmy and Adam were.
I listen to Howard Stern a lot. And when Howard gets guests on there and he keeps them on there for an hour plus, hour and a half, sometimes even longer, you find out, you have a tendency to find out whether or not the person's a good person or not. Like, I could always tell, like, I don't really like this person after listening to him with Howard for a while. Every time Jimmy's on there, you could just tell he's just an excellent person. You really can. Like, he talks about when he gives gifts to people, it's like extraordinary gifts, and he just seems like a great guy.
Yeah, it's funny too. I think a big part of that is he is truly living his dream. I mean, like when I first started, he would talk about, before he had the Man Show, before any of that stuff, before Win Ben Stein's Money, which was his first TV show. He talked about his ultimate goal was, to be Letterman. He was like, Letterman's the greatest show ever. He's the greatest entertainer ever. One day, I hope if I ever meet him, I'm going to get a tattoo. If I ever get the blessing to be on his show, I will get a Letterman tattoo to show him. And then Howard Stern. He was like, there's nobody that's ever done it. There's nobody that ever will do it. Howard Stern. Those were his two kind of heroes and his mentors. And to be able to just kind of hobnob and rub elbows and be in that circle has got to be just unbelievable.
Hey, Matt, one of the things that I like maybe people don't know is that you started out with music and radio, right? And I see in your background you got a couple of the albums. Yeah, why don't you talk about that? Because I remember one of the cool things, and when I got to see you a lot, was when you were traveling, working for DreamWorks and working for London Records and pushing their alternative labels and stuff, and then you kind of transitioned from music back into sports. So I want to talk about that. I know Tom wants to talk about the Sublime story, which I think is a great story. But if you could talk a little bit about those records behind you and music.
So this one is music director, gold record for Postal Service. You may remember the song "Such Great Heights."
I love that song.
That was
great.
That was a really cool one because they were just kind of like
they did a great job.
Everybody knows Ben Gibbard, who's the front man for Death Cab for Cutie, but the other guy in there is Jimmy Tamborello, who was the music director of KXLU, which was the college radio station at Loyola Marymount. So it's kind of a cool collaboration to be able to do that and kind of get it started on K-Rock. And then it turns into a big old hit from, essentially a kid who partnered up with Ben before Ben was really famous in Death Cab. To have that be a hit is pretty cool for a guy that was at this tiny little 88.9 KXLU station. And then this one, probably my favorite band that I ever worked with, which is why it's up behind me, is Jimmy Eat World for the Bleed American record, which just became the eponymous record that had, the middle, their big hit on it and stuff. So this is just COVID. Normally these would not be on the wall. They would just, it's weird. I don't know. I never
got to
want to
put cool things up on the wall. Yeah.
Exactly. The printer's normally not here whenever I got to go on TV. And then I think in the middle is also from when I was music director, the last tour that the Beastie Boys did,
nice.
Before, unfortunately.
Right.
So that's their set list, and they signed it from one of the shows they
I'm
did.
sure your key to the city of Hammond's in there somewhere in the background. I
It's
don't
there.
see it.
It's
I don't see it right now. I'm sure it's around there someplace. So
You know what? If I could reach it, I would
yeah,
have it.
it's just out of reach. I'm
but
sure.
yes.
Right.
So I got it. So I was an intern as well at Polygram Label Group. When I was an intern for Kevin and Bean, I was an intern for Polygram Label Group as well. So I had 2 internships, and PLG was kind of the umbrella company of Island Records, A&M Records, Mercury Records. There were a host of them, and so that's when I graduated college. Actually, before I even graduated college, I almost dropped out with like 3 months to go because Mercury offered me a job. They had an opening, and thought about taking it. But thankfully didn't, and ended up landing with London and kind of what Kevin's talking about, the alternative rock yacht. So what you do is you get these records and you all kind of figure out what song you think would work the best at radio. And then you travel the country and you call the radio stations in the format in which you're working and see if they'll play your record.
What about
sometimes
what's that Sublime story? Because Sublime was like a Malibu band, right? Playing house parties.
Long Beach band. So that's kind of it's sort of a convoluted story. I mean, because the record had been out for like 2 years. 40 Ounces to Freedom had been out for a while.
Love it.
And I just happened to get turned on to it by a friend of mine who was from Long Beach, a friend of mine, Joe. And when I was at K-Rock interning, one of the things that made it a special place, I think, was they never felt like they knew everything. The guy that ran it, this guy, Kevin Weatherly, just a brilliant programmer, would always kind of be walking around the office looking for input. Hey, do you know of any music? Is there anything we're missing? Kind of stuff, because, he's whatever in his mid-30s at the time, and here I am, a 21-year-old kid or whatever in college. So I just so happened to have that Sublime record. And a friend of mine who also worked in the music department, Zeke, also knew him pretty well because he was doing the local music show. And we both kind of listened through the record and trying to figure out on Tuesdays, you have what's called a music meeting in radio, and they decide what records they're going to put into rotation moving forward. And by that, I mean, they usually play about 40 current records. And the way, like if you think you call a radio station, you request a song and then they play it, that's not how it works. Every song is slotted into a specific place and plays at a specific time. That's the way radio stations work. So on Tuesdays, they decide what new music they're going to put into those slots. And Sublime Date Rape was one of those that we brought in, and it was an old song, and really, like I said, Sublime had already released Robin in the Hood, their record after 40 Ounces to Freedom. And we put Date Rape on. It exploded immediately, became a huge hit. And then, of course, they came out with the Sublime record that just had, What I Got in Santeria. And then sadly, Brad passed away. But
crazy. They've Sublime with Rome played Hammond twice, and the first time they played Hammond was one of the special moments of my life. Honestly, it was it's definitely one of my favorite bands, and it was a big moment for the festival too when we brought them in. Just like we got Sammy Hagar this year. I'm not sure if you heard that, but like it seems like every once in a while you hit like a bigger caliber band, and when we got Sublime at the time, that was big time for us, and it helps you the
Huge
following
crowd
years
that year.
Yeah, but it also helps you the following years because they're like, oh, Sublime played there last year, then I could play there. Right?
Yeah, and I think the word gets out on between bands. I think too. I think you've done the fest now 15, 16 years, and it's so much easier to get bands now than it was like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it just seems like it's rolling.
And
now.
I think this year's going to be special, I would assume.
Yeah,
just because of no live music last year.
True story.
I mean, the fact that people are ready. Like my daughter, Kevin's niece, Preston, she's playing the Huntington Beach Pier today. They like just at the very last, what California's been like through COVID. I mean, we've been the most conservative state when it comes to opening up and getting things going. So they basically just green lighted them for music a couple weeks ago, which is kind of crazy. But so now we're actually going to have live music, and I would imagine it's going to be freaking packed because people are just dying for it.
Oh, no kidding. Hey, I saw a video of your daughter playing. Was that with Jimmy Eat World, where she was playing the piano with the lead singer or something?
Oh, no, that was with John from Five for Fighting.
Yeah, that's right. And then,
that was cool.
Jimmy Eat World, I played with Pete Buttigieg, though. I remember that.
You're right. He did. Yeah, absolutely. So, Matt, kind of like talking, obviously we talked about music. Let's talk about football a little bit, because obviously you're the voice of the Chargers. I know Mayor Tom, you got to introduce, that was actually one of a very cool moment when they did the original Towns a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And you got to introduce Mayor Tom doing the Chargers pick at Sportsplex, which was really cool. Did that guy ever make the team, by the way?
I didn't follow it up.
He
was a cornerback, right?
I think he's a linebacker. I think he is, and that's so funny, like that you had to have of all the players, you couldn't get Pete Smith as drafted.
That's right. It was the most difficult name. I still don't know how to pronounce it.
Emeka Ogbule.
Yeah, that's the one I have to announce on
you
national
open
TV.
the envelope.
I'm like, what the hell? It's like, you serious? It's like the worst case scenario.
Yes, But
There's
you
a
hit
couple
it
of
though.
great
Did they hand?
pictures.
Was it spelled out phonetically on the card or no?
It was spelled out phonetically, but
Thank
it was
goodness.
still intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Exactly.
is your job for me, like on national TV.
This was really
No,
cool.
that was really cool.
It was very cool.
And the draft has become, one of the most watched sporting events, if you want to call it that, of the year. And now we're going to have training camp. They've just, dropped a bomb right in the middle of my Hawaii trip, so I can't go to Hawaii now because they're going to make training camp one of those things where every team. So whatever, if you're a Colts fan or a Bears fan or something, every single NFL team is going to officially start on the 31st of July, and NFL Network is going to run from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. big time training camp coverage, scrimmages kind of stuff, a lot of fan involvement. That whole day is going to be sort of one of those tentpole days. So it's crazy to see, even in just the 15 years that I've worked for, like when I first got hired at NFL Network, the idea was we were going to do this 30-minute fantasy show on NFL.com. It was this crazy idea that you could broadcast an actual show on the internet as opposed to TV. That's kind of what they were thinking. Like, what if we just broadcast? Would people sit in front of their computer? It's so funny to think about now. Would people sit in front of their computers and watch a show? And it was just going to be 30 minutes. And before I think we might have done a week of those, and it was so popular that they immediately put it on the network. And the following year, it immediately became an hour-long show. And by the end of that year, it was the highest-rated show on the network. And that was just, the proliferation and emergence of fantasy sports really taken off. I think because of the ability of computer statistics, right? And you didn't have to get the paper on Tuesday morning and have a commissioner tally everything up. And your fantasy league, the fact that they had these the internet was able to do it all for you really is what led to that explosion.
Here's one of my favorite NFL Network moments. This is if you search you on YouTube, this comes up right away. So let's watch this.
This is
one.
great. Thanks.
No,
Which
not
one?
that No, the when Matt gets tackled.
Oh,
here we go.
Something.
So here we're going to watch the video real quick.
Yeah, let's
play this
here.
baby up so we can minimize. Let's see if we can see Matt. So Matt, you can what's the guy's name? Akbar
Akbar Akbar.
Yeah.
Everybody knows his brother KGB because he was, great Packer pass rusher. So that's his older brother. This was a really weird moment where I was just going to commercial, and it's probably better that I didn't see him because I didn't. My body did not brace for impact.
No, your head just snapped, man.
So, and you know what? Believe it or not, I think that's good. I was totally. Had I known he was coming, I'm guessing I would have exploded into dust because he outweighs me by 100 pounds.
Oh, that's brutal.
And to see, the funny thing is, like, of all the, if you were to let that play out, because that's probably from the TV broadcast, if you were to let that run out just like naturally, I said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And he looked at me and he was absolutely terrified. He knew that he's like, I don't know. He goes, I was just messing around. I came around the corner and something like a switch just flipped, and I don't know why I came at you like that.
I'm gonna.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Your head totally snapped.
Crazy.
My glasses go flying.
Crazy.
And I'll tell you what's great about it. It's not a lot of people have the opportunity to take a hit from a football player, like a legitimate hit. So to be able to describe the violence associated with someone going 3/4 speed that played in the league for 4 years.
Well, at least he tried to
I
catch
feel like
you.
it's a badge of honor. Do I look like a fool? Of course. But hey, I am a fool. But at the same time, I now have that life experience I can share with everyone. And hey, it's not fun.
It's epic.
What's the what do you think the biggest difference, Matt, is between like TV and radio? Because you've done both.
It's huge. It's huge. TV is very structured, right? They have a specific segment, and it's got to be a specific length, and they have elements that they control, whether it's I'll use some TV jargon, but a lower third, which is the stuff you see at the bottom of the screen with a bunch of stats, like there's somebody in your ear the whole time, like throwing the lower third up. So below me would have, let's just say, Carson Wentz, 9 for 16, 335 yards, a touchdown sort of stuff, and then or they'll say, all right, going to B-roll, so I'm talking now. There's a video. B-roll is the video that comes up that runs a highlight, and then they'll count you down to outs. And it's just and you, for me, like, I'm not super reliant on the prompter, but because everything was so structured and timed out, I liked the prompter. So radio, is a blank canvas, and you're painting it yourself every single segment. It's just you get to create it. There's nothing there.
How many years has Petros and Money ran now?
This is 15.
Wow, 15 years. We're having trouble with like twice a week, 8 episodes, 5 days a week, 5
day,
hours a
4
day.
hours a day.
Oh, man.
4 hours a day.
Wow.
15 years.
John might collapse
Yeah, it's
just
funny.
thinking about that.
I had a friend of mine. You may know, people listening, I don't know if they know him or not. He's a great guy and very, very bright, just brilliant, creative mind. Dave Damashek, who I used to work with at NFL Network, and now he works with Sal, Jimmy's cousin Sal, and they kind of have a gambling sort of not sports gaming network that he works on now. But one day we were just kind of having beers, and he just out of nowhere said, there's like, he goes, that. You and Petros are now sort of like an institution. You are going to run into somebody that says, hey, I grew up listening to you. That's going to happen. And for the first time ever, it just happened. I was at a friend's house the other day. She was having a party, and this guy came up to me, and he was a younger guy. And I think he said, hey, man, I've been listening to you since I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And he was like 20, and he was 23. And it was just so weird to hear. Like, I grew up listening to you guys. My dad and I, he'd pick me up from school, and we'd listen to you on the way home. And it's just kind of weird to think you've been on the air.
Well, it's kind of like, like Mayor Tom has that, right, with people. Like where you have people that were kids.
Yeah.
And like, Mayor, I grew up, now I can vote for you.
Yeah.
Like, right, happens to you all the time. Or your baseball,
right.
Same thing.
When I think it might have been one of the first times I met Matt. I'd met him before, but we were in L.A. I was getting an award. The city was getting an award for the College Bound program.
Yeah.
And we're out in L.A., and Kevin and I woke up. We were out late the night before, and Kevin's like, hey, I'm meeting my brother at a breakfast spot. It was right by where we were staying. So we go there, and Kevin and I are in this packed place in L.A. And this is a great story for Matt because I barely knew him, right? And then Matt walks in. Kevin's like, there he is. I'm like, oh, okay. And I see Matt walk up, and nobody really recognizes him visually at the time. It's a lot different now, I'm sure. But Matt walks in, and he starts talking to us. Hey, what's up, guys? And he says it, in Matt's voice. And as soon as your voice was heard by people, like everybody like looked over, and then the owner of the place came over and introduced himself to you. He's like, are you Matt Money Smith? And this is
crazy.
like one of the first times I met him. I'm like, holy shit, like who is your brother, Kevin?
Yeah, and that was the first time it really had happened to me where I'd been out with him and someone was like, oh, I know you, this and that.
Kevin was hating on you the rest of the trip. He's like, that's just bullshit. That was all set up,
That was all set up.
That's why he wanted to go to this breakfast place. He's like, don't forget to come over. All right, come over to me right after I start talking.
Listen, the mayor's going to be here today, all right? I got to create an impression.
Well, another time Kevin was hating on you, Matt?
I don't think I was hating on you.
John and I pulled up a video. Okay, so it's a video of you taking it at bat against the
this
Arizona.
is good.
Can we play this real quick?
Yeah, let me pull this up for you guys.
So, Matt, give a little background on this before we play it.
Well, so we got invited to the sort of whatever fantasy camp for All-Star Weekend in Arizona. The radio show did. So Petros, our producer at the time, David Vassay, who's now the Dodgers reporter for the Dodgers, and I all got to go out and spend like 3 days in one of these fantasy camps, which typically costs thousands of dollars, right, to do this. And so they placed us on a team, and they just wanted us to push. I think it was MasterCard was the sponsor, so it was like some sort of promotion, and I believe it was a cancer awareness thing as well. So it's kind of like a charity. That's why I was there. So just kind of laying.
Is that in Scottsdale?
So we were like, "What's
that? Is that Scottsdale in the background?" I'm trying to.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this was. I think this. They have all those training camps around. I think this was the Salt.
Oh.
This was the Salt River.
Okay.
I think that was their complex where we were doing, which is cool because it's like 3 different teams. There's a whole bunch of fields, a giant training facility that you got to take BP in and stuff. So yeah, so we get put on Tony Womack's team, and he was awesome. He could not be like Petros could barely even swing a bat, and Womack, the captain of the USC football team. But Tony was super cool with all of us, and so I think I want to say he like either had me bat leadoff or second or something like that. But I was near the top of the order.
So here comes the at bat. We're throwing it up right now.
Okay. Yes, I can't see
That's
it,
all
so
right.
just kind of let me know.
He's talking. He's like, Money, you're up. He's walking up. You get up to
Here
bat,
he is.
looking straight up and down. Tom will go from here.
Yeah. He's got the here comes the pitch. I'm not a very good color guy. Looks like a line drive past the shortstop.
Yeah, it was a gapper.
For a base hit.
Nice.
poked a little slap hit through the hole.
So Kevin and I were watching it last
I
night.
was like,
Money.
that was like a
Kevin's
that's
like
like a lob.
Kevin's like, oh, they just lobbed it to him. I'm like, dude, stop hating
I
on
was like,
your
they're like,
brother,
all
man.
right.
It was a freaking.
I would say, I don't know if it was I would say the pitch was probably, based on what we were doing in BP, I'd say it was in the 60s.
All right,
it was not an 80-mile-an-hour fastball.
I'm just making
probably
sure.
high 60s, low 70s maybe is kind of where it was. Not by no means was it a major league level.
Not a bad hit though
We're
for
gonna
your
see
at
this again
bat.
here.
But
Here it is.
But here's the best part
Throwing
of the
it
hit,
again.
right? So the best part of that hit is I get the hit, and I assume maybe he's going to be able to scoop it up, so I'm trying to beat it out. So I'm kind of really hustling down the line. And when I get to first base, as the next batter gets in and I take a lead off, the first baseman says, "Hey, you're not going to be offended if I don't hold you on." Are you?"
That's great.
And I just went, I was that slow. He goes, "I haven't seen someone run that slow."
That's awesome.
Well, that's pretty cool. Speaking of, I guess, sports, Chargers are coming up. What do you think about the season? And what do you think about Josh? I wanted you to say something about the Chargers and say something about Josh Fields as the Bears pick.
Justin?
I'm sorry, yeah, look at me. That's why I don't do football.
Yeah, so the stuff that I heard, because, I covered the draft for NFL Network, so was able to kind of – Fields was I don't want to say polarizing, but there were people that were high on him. And then there were others that were sort of concerned, just about what the Ohio State offense presents and what it allows you to do, the talent you have.
Mm-hmm.
But there were others that were like, no, this guy is this would be my first pick of this group kind of level. Outside of Trevor Lawrence, of course. But so that's kind of one thing. Second thing is, what I've also heard about him is how special he is as a leader. Just like he is a galvanizing force. So that's something you certainly want from that position. So those are the positives. In terms of I think what I think he's going to end up starting. I really do.
Do you really? Game one?
I think you're going to get. I think you're going to get into training camp, and I think kind of those attributes are going to show themselves through training camp. And you can't fool the locker room, and I think it's a very dangerous thing to do. So what I would guess is. But at the same time, Andy Dalton certainly is a better than capable quarterback. I would say he is an average quarterback, and that's pretty good in the NFL.
Right.
If you can be an average
He
quarterback.
took the Cowboys to the playoffs, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if, but it still wouldn't surprise me if Fields was out there because of just what you can see the team reacting to him. Like, come on, really? We're going to do this instead of this. Like I could see, and plus I think the idea of what Nagy wants to do and how much more he can do with Fields back there, I think would kind of lead me to believe that if he doesn't start week one, he's going to start.
You think Nagy's a good coach, Matt?
Don't know. Kind of one of the knocks I had heard on him was just as a play caller, he, and this was something Nick Foles mentioned, and he had to backtrack, but I had heard this for years that he's too indecisive, that he's in your ear. You have the headset when you're the quarterback and the coach is calling the play into you and then it cuts off at a certain point. I think with 20 seconds left in the play clock, it cuts off. And far too often he'd be trying to tell, let's do it. And it cut off.
Great. Oh, you do see sometimes you see the quarterback's like, I didn't get it. Or what, it's off.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so I know that was a big lament of Mitch Trubisky's like, hey man, just get the damn play call in and let me get to the line of scrimmage and look at what's in front of me. And far too often it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't come in time. So now you're looking at the sideline trying to get the hand signals in from the backup quarterback. And now you're getting to the line of scrimmage and you're not settled. You're discombobulated. Right. So I know that was a big problem. And, I had heard that was something Trubisky and his people, when Mitch was playing pretty well and they looked like they were going to the playoffs and he got injured, I had heard that was one of the issues that he perhaps brought up. Like, hey, you're not calling plays again. Uh-huh. He's doing a lot better. Was it Laser that was calling him? I can't remember. So they were like, so I know I'm all wrapped up here. Sorry.
Getting ready for a surf stretch.
Yeah. So that's, I think, kind of one of the issues with Coach Nagy. But from all accounts, like I've heard he's a great guy. And I think that's important, have a locker room that likes you, players that like you. So, but look, this is their year. If they don't do it this year, if they don't show promise with and even that may not be a luck, because look at the Chargers, right? Incredible promise with Justin Herbert, and like this is like something that's going on in the NFL right now, right? it is so the most valuable commodity is a great quarterback on a rookie deal. Like that is the most important thing to have in the NFL. And so I think even though under Coach Lynn, Justin Herbert broke all these rookie records, looks like one of the most promising quarterbacks in the league, they were like, okay, do we think this is the coaching staff that can win a Super Bowl? Because if not, we got to find one that can, because we got 4 years. We've got 4 years left with this guy before he's going to be making $45 million or $50 million and taking up a quarter of our salary cap. And right now we can fill in around him and maybe go win a Super Bowl. So I think that's the case with Nagy too, right? If Justin Fields is it and he displays the same sort of, prowess and competence as Herbert, they may ask themselves the same questions. Okay, well, now we got it. And now we got 4 years. So is Nagy the guy, or do we have to go out and find someone else and take advantage of this tiny window we have, like the Chiefs did with Mahomes, like the Seahawks did with Russell Wilson. That's, even though it was Nick Foles, the Eagles did with Carson Wentz, who guided him there in that season. It's so, it's such a value to have that compared to anything else in the NFL.
Hey, I got one last question before. I know you want to get out. What was your big break? I mean, if you had to look back, you probably had a series of big breaks, but if you look back, like I can remember when I was running for office, like what my first break was. What was your first break where you're like, holy cow, I'm going where I wanted to go? And, is there any moment like that you can remember? Probably a lot of them, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I think it would, believe it or not, it was kind of an unfortunate break. I was kind of my career path was essentially, my goal was to be the president of DreamWorks Records. Like that's what I was tracking to be. I was very close with the executives there. I was very young when I got hired, and I always felt like they would take me on trips, when they were signing bands, and that just doesn't, when you're the radio guy, that doesn't happen. But I was someone who was able to travel and go help them sign bands and talk to these guys. So I could tell that they were kind of grooming me to do that. And that would have been an unbelievable career. I mean, don't get me running a record label, my God. But David Geffen just didn't have the patience for the business. The business was changing. Napster had just shown up. Digital distribution was cutting into profits incredibly, and we were hemorrhaging money at the time. So he just decided to flip it to Interscope. And I had a choice to go to Interscope and continue doing what I was doing and likely, probably get a bump in pay and make more money and just kind of continue to be that radio guy, but likely also just throw away the idea of ever being an executive because Jimmy Iovine was the president and he wasn't going anywhere ever. So it's like, all right, well, that's not going to happen. Or leave and go into radio full time at K-Rock as the music director and start doing more Kevin and Bean. Before I was just doing like one sports report, and then I would drive to DreamWorks and do a full-time job there. So, I chose, knowing that radio wasn't going to pay me as much, I chose that path into radio, doing more Kevin and Bean, being the music director, and essentially having a larger presence on the radio. And I think what that did was, Jimmy actually gave me this advice. He said, hey, remember, whenever you are on the mic, you're in Los Angeles. It's an audition. Every single time you're on the mic, it is an audition. People listen to this radio station. People in Hollywood, important people, and you will get calls if you perform. And so I always treated it as such, and that's how the Lakers got a hold of me.
Crazy.
So you had something, Tom, when you said you're on an audition today. When you're doing it, it's like you're finally in LA.
I would have prepared better if I had known. So.
I just think John's complimented that you use the same mic that we have here in the studio, Matt. I think
this is per the NFL Network.
Wow,
look at you, John.
That's a compliment
setup,
to me.
I know
Yeah.
it's a
That's
huge
right.
compliment. Great by our producer.
Yeah, I believe in the voice of the Knights Templar, you chose wisely.
Nice.
Well, hey man, if they need a producer out there,
This is your audition too.
John's like,
my
I would
audition.
leave these
Need a
guys
sound
in
guy.
1 second.
I do, before I go, by the way, want to compliment you guys on the strategic placement of things that are important to you. As in my backdrop, they're like, hey, can you put some stuff up so it's not just a blank wall? So I was like, all right. Yeah, Kevin chose a bottle of bourbon.
That's right.
Behind my
Okay,
coffee,
you know what's
though.
important to me? Whiskey. whiskey is what's important to me.
Yeah.
This is what I want to make sure everybody
I don't know if you
knows.
noticed the safe that used to be in our bedroom right here, though. If you can see that. You probably can't see it with the Charlie's Angel stickers on them.
Let me see it. Right
here.
I can't see it there. Hold on.
Kevin's like ADD here. He's like, I can't take this.
I know. Let me move this
I can
up.
see the makers.
See? It's like over here.
It's got like
Oh, yeah.
in our bedroom for many years.
yeah,
So
like
do remember
back
that.
in the old days when Kevin used to use his Farrah Fawcett poster. He said that on a previous show. He's like, you know how when we
remember
used
there
our
was-
posters? Like that's so gross.
Exactly.
Hey, we have a
Yeah. So is it LOCPOD?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Or is it? That's what we do. Okay, left of center. So LOCPOD.
It started
Awesome.
off as left of center, and then naturally we became
Came LOCPOD.
We figure we have a good future in self-storage business if this doesn't work out. So
I like it.
yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to be LCP. You know, like little. You down with like little
Oh,
LCP?
Oh,
God damn,
wow.
man. Where were
See?
you? Where were you when we?
LCP.
Matt's got to start coming to our pre-shows. All right.
we have
It
a
always
snap
evolves,
poll
man.
right now
Yeah?
going. Who's cooler, Kevin or Matt?
This is gonna be
that's
easy.
going to be an
This
easy
is-
I'm
one.
gonna vote for Kevin because nobody else will.
This just
I don't,
shows
want, I don't want Kevin to have 0%. So
the loyalty of our audience.
not- it's-
64%
I don't have
are
a-
saying Matt.
Well, that's about
How
right.
many?
64.
64.
Thank you to my
two-thirds.
fans out there. Thank you to the third of the people that voted for me.
I voted for Kevin, Matt,
Thank
but I
you,
really
Tom.
think it was you. So
It was
all right,
a pity vote.
all right.
Wait, it's changing quickly now. 58% Matt.
Wow.
This is like a split, man.
let's call it now, quick.
You better wrap, Tom. You better wrap the show
Hey,
up.
Matt
quick.
Money. Thank you. Hey, Matt
I
Money.
would say this. Perhaps I'm too braggadocious.
Hey, Matt, how do people listen to you? I know that you with Petros and Money. Could you tell everybody how to, if they wanted to listen to your show, how they do it?
Same way they're listening to yours in many cases, the iHeartRadio app.
Nice.
Just get that iHeartRadio app, download it, and use the AM570 LA Sports. Actually, I think if you just typed in Petros and Money into the search bar, it'd take you to our show.
Awesome.
And you can podcast, you can listen live, stream it live, however you want to do it.
And then obviously you're a play-by-play announcer on the radio for the LA Chargers.
Yeah. So if you got the satellite radio, they run all, Sirius runs all the games. You can always track it down somewhere in there. They'll have the Charger game going. You'll be able to hear those. And I guess the one of most interest would be the 17th game when the Chargers take on the Vikings.
Awesome.
To all the Bear fans listening.
Awesome.
And yeah, we played the Colts. We played the Colts last year, so I don't think we played the Colts this year. Or maybe we do.
Hey,
Anyway,
Kevin and
sorry.
I were talking last night when you guys when the Chargers play the Las Vegas Raiders. We want to meet you out there. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every year.
That is going to be a popular. Talk about a brilliant move by Mark Davis. To get out there. Every one of those games is going to be sold out.
yeah.
And even though they're going to have a ton of visiting fans, who cares?
I know.
It's going to be awesome energy. People are going to be totally hungover. It's going to be like a
probably
mausoleum,
both.
right?
But Matt Money Smith, thank you very much for appearing on LOCPOD. It took us 3 seasons to finally get you, so I imagine we'll see you probably by season 6 or something like that. So we appreciate you.
Anytime. Yeah, anytime.
Thanks very much, Matt. It's
All right,
good to
guys.
see you,
Good
bud.
seeing you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Have fun surfing. Good. See you, man.
Wow.
All right. We did
All right.
good. We
That was
did
great.
good.
Good to see him.
Right. Jill was being very quiet today. Sports not your forte, Jill?
She was
Not the
taking it all in.
in-depth, not the in-depth analysis.
Yeah, I was way into it. I was like, what? Who? Who's
I know.
calling the plays for the Bears?
I know, right?
No one.
Whoa.
Right. Well, that was great. I
was
appreciate it. For all you new listeners out there that don't normally listen to us, we do this twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7:30 Central Time. So it's early for you California people. But we're also on Apple Pod. Are we on iHeartRadio?
Yes, we are.
Son of a gun. We're
Look
on
at us.
iHeartRadio. We're on
Look
all
at
that
us.
stuff. That
Do you not listen to me?
I do. I do. I'm always deep and focused during the show.
Just getting over mailbag.
But
it was-
yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's that, John?
I thought it was interesting that he's exclusive to iHeart, whereas we are just, even if we get one listener on some random Napster thing,
We're
we'll
happy.
do it.
We're happy.
We'll just whore ourselves out to anyone.
Stitcher.
We will.
Any platform.
We're just like, please listen to us, right?
What's it gonna take?
It's desperation. It's like if I was on Grindr and on all the dating apps. I'm on Grindr.
Blender?
I just like to keep it out there,
That's right.
just to
Grindr,
see
huh?
what kind of interest there is.
kind of dudes like you.
Keep Marissa on her toes.
That's
to
right.
know.
Just in case.
Look how popular I am
like
on
Marissa,
Grindr.
you know what? Like I got 3 messages
I got
on Grindr.
options. I got options.
I'm out. I could be gone anytime now.
Wow.
Like I just let her.
She doesn't seem.
I love my wife. I love my wife. I
was
love my
gonna say,
wife.
yes.
It's like,
don't think she
hi,
seems that
by the way, I
threatened.
got a visitor. Mother-in-law's in town.
Nice.
Lynn. Nice to
Happy-
see you, Lynn.
good
She's
to
a
see you.
listener.
Lynn, welcome
She's
to
listening
town.
right now. Yeah. So
Listening locally instead of
By the way,
outwardly.
my mom is coming to town in like a week.
I can't wait to have her on.
She's already talking about like trying to come in here. So I was like, no, I don't think we're doing any shows when you're here. I'll be honest.
Sue, I can't wait to see you.
If my mom gets anywhere near the studio, I need you to lock the office.
Oh no, we're letting her in.
No, man, that's
right next to you.
My mom knows all my.
Because she's gonna hug on you. This is gonna be great.
She'll be calling me like Tombo on the air and stuff like that. No, that's
we're
not
gonna get
work.
into all that,
dude. I'm the locomotive. I can't
too
have my
bad,
mom
man.
coming in and
Mom's
kissing
coming
on, me
on,
and stuff.
man.
Yeah.
She's gonna Mom loves you.
So anyway, for all you new listeners out there, thank you for listening to LOCPOD today. Like I said, we do this twice a week. Please rate, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Send us mail. We'll read it on the air. I want to thank Jill for being in the studio again with us today. Jay Vez, great job on lining that all up. Of course, my co-host Kevin Smith. Thanks for bringing in your famous and much cooler younger brother.
Yeah, much cooler.
And, of course, it's Tom McDermott, your locomotive. Thank you for listening to LOCPOD. We'll see you on Tuesday. Enjoy the 4th of July weekend. Happy 4th. Be safe. We'll see you on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.